Good morning, students. Today we are going to read a new story. The name of the story is Irah becomes a flower gardener. This is a story about a young girl who lived in Indonesia. Now, where is Indonesia? It's in the southeast part of Asia. So, it's an Asian country. Now here we are going to see that how this little girl Ira followed her dreams, how hardworking she is. Let's start reading. The meeting room was noisy. Several men had come from the city and were talking to the village headman of Chibiru. They wanted to invest their money in flowers to be sold in Jakarta. There were farmers too, from several villages, who had to be given some guidance as they had no experience in growing flowers. This was the first meeting between the investors and the farmers. After the headman of Chibiru and the investors had spoken, those who were interested in growing flowers were requested to hand in their names to Mrs. Sri. The neighboring village of Chihejo, which had the most suitable soil and climate for a flower plantation, was represented by a cheerful girl of 14 called Ira. So here we can see a, almost a little girl of 14 years. She was called for presentation. Oh my God, it's wonderful. Let's see the next. Ira was the eldest of four children and the only daughter of her parents. She had always loved flowers, and as the daughter of a farmer, she knew a lot about growing plants. Mrs. Sri put Ira's name on the list and gave her a book with pictures of all kinds of attractive flowers. The next meeting would be held in 3 months. By then, Ira would have to study the book so that she would know the names of the flowers that were suitable for growing in Chihejo, how to plant them, and what fertilizers to use. Ira did not look cheerful on her way home. How could she understand what was written in the book if she didn't even know how to read it? Oh, how she regretted having thrown away her chance of study. Elementary education was compulsory in her village, but a few weeks after she started school, she got typhoid fever and had to stay at home for a month. When she returned to school, she was already far behind the other children. She grew lazy and used her illness as an excuse, making people believe that high fever had made her unable to learn. She spent most of the time drawing pictures and stopped attending school altogether. That night, Ira couldn't sleep. Her thoughts were far away in a rose plantation. The next morning, she was tired and irritable. The whole family was worried. Was it because she had to go all by herself? Her father asked himself. But she knew that I had to attend an important meeting to discuss the annual kite competition. The Cheju villagers had won several prizes in the past, and as before, they expected Ira to do the illustration. We have to start discussing the design of our kites as soon as we can, Ira's father said. We only have 3 months.